topic for many of our clients is planning for long-term care. This may be because they're planning for their own care or helping their parents arrange for theirs. In this video, and those following in 2015, we're going to discuss some of the facts around the need for long-term care. Then we'll talk about planning ahead for long-term care and how to pay for it, including the decision of whether to buy long-term care insurance. To begin this discussion, let's consider some interesting insights from a recent study completed by the Center for Retirement Research, or CRR, which is located at Boston College. This study suggests two things. First, there's an even higher probability than earlier studies showed that Americans will need care. But at the same time, this study says that the length of time needed for care is shorter than earlier studies have shown. Now, over the past 20 years, models used extensively in the industry said that women over 65 had a 44% probability of needing long-term care, and that men over 65 had a 27% probability of needing long-term care. However, this latest study by CRR says that 58% of women over 65 will need care, while 44% of men will. So, these numbers suggest a 30 to 50% higher probability of needing any long-term care. What's interesting, though, is that while the recent CRR study shows a higher probability of care being needed, it also found that the duration of care needed was significantly less than previously thought. CRR found that the average duration of care for men and women is a third lower than earlier studies showed. The study says that men require 10 months of care versus 15 months in previous studies. The average duration for women is 17 months, down from 24 months. In summary, while the latest studies show a greater probability that long-term care will be needed, the probability of care being needed for more than 1 year is less than 10% for men and less than 15% for women. Now, let's look at this from the viewpoint of cost. Genworth gathers extensive data on the cost of long-term care in the U.S. Genworth's 2014 average long-term care cost estimate for the U.S. is $225 per day for a semi-private room. For women, that 17-month stay estimated by CRR translates into a total cost of $114,750. For men, a 10-month stay would cost $67,500. The total for a couple would be $182,250. Of course, this is a significant cost for many people to deal with in retirement. At the same time, the premium costs for a long-term care insurance plan can take up a large percentage of a retiree's budget. So, taking into consideration this latest information, what are the planning implications to consider for long-term care? How do the different ways of delivering care affect that planning? What do they cost? How are they paid for? Now, these are just some of the questions we're discussing in the coming videos, so be sure to tune in.